Welcome back to another episode of Born Again Bowhunting Podcast. We kind of have the whole crew here, but one of them's on Zoom. So
yeah.
How's it going tonight, Matthew?
It's not good. It's not good, boys.
Why don't you tell us why you're on the couch and not in a chair next to me?
Well, we'll just break into the podcast right away with what's going on in my life, I guess. Over the weekend, Saturday, I was going down early Saturday morning. I was going down to Indiana to hang cameras. My transmission went out in my truck. Old Kevin gave Kevy a call and said, "Hey," I said, "You want to come help a friend out?" And luckily, I was only about an hour away from home. Kevin brought a trailer, loaded that puppy up, and by the grace of God, Kevin got it rebuilt by midnight of that night. So he actually put in a transmission into a Dodge, got the Dodge off the lift, got my truck on the lift, and within like 6 hours or something.
yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin.
Yeah.
So when we punched in, I punched my time clock in just to see how long it took us, and it was 4:01 when I punched in, and it was 12:03 when we left,
Jeez.
or when we were putting oil in your truck. So,
Yeah, but that also includes the Dodge,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah.
it was probably like 7 hours of match, 6 or 7 hours of match transmission.
yes,
Yeah.
it took me an hour to get the Dodge transmission in, and then the 7 and some change to get yours out, rebuilt, and back in. So I did the book time just for the heck of it, and it was like 19 and a half hours worth of like book time to do all that stuff crammed in 8 hours. I was dragging by the end of it, but hey,
And,
we got
and he made
going.
it home, so we know that it was okay.
Yeah.
It's too funny.
So then after that, we went from a low to a high, back to a low. Kevin had a big tree go down in his yard on Sarah's garden.
Yep.
And, not to say that I felt obligated to help. I would have helped no matter what, but Kevin just spent, 8 hours of his Saturday rebuilding my tranny. So I was like, hey, I'll come over tomorrow when you're going to cut up that tree and I'll help. Well, Kevin never texted me that he was starting. And finally at like 1 o'clock, I texted him thinking that, they just got back from church or whatever. And Kevin's like, oh, it's almost cut up. We're almost done. And I was like, well, I'll just come and, I'll help load or whatever. So we get there, we cut for maybe an hour at most, and then we start loading up into Kevin's other buddy, Matt's truck, well, Jarrett's buddy as well. And we were lifting pieces, and honestly, like I've lifted heavier pieces, and during that time period, I was lifting heavier pieces. I grabbed onto a piece that was maybe 100 pounds, and I just kind of squatted down, proper form, like bend at the knees, grabbed it and went to stand up, and my back went out. And I kind of like collapsed to the ground a little bit and kind of like rested the piece on my knees. And I kind of looked at Kevin and I was like, I can't do this one. And he's like, you need help? And I'm like, yeah, I need help. So Kevin grabbed a hold of it, and I could tell like I did absolutely nothing to help Kevin lift this thing. I just kind of like I
Two
took maybe like
fingers,
10
like-
pounds off of.
He was supporting it for me.
Yeah, right. It's like when somebody
seen-
does the squat or the
I
bench
seen
bar.
Kevin's face look at me like, "Are you gonna help?" And I was giving it all I had. I was giving it all I had, and my back was really, really tight, and I couldn't really walk more than 10, 15 yards without like almost crouching or like kneeling down. My back would get so tight, and I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought, it is what it is. I tweaked a muscle, or I'll sleep it off. I slept on a heating pad that night. I borrowed the wife's heating pad, and I was like, I'll just sleep on this thing and be good by morning. Well, morning came around and it was probably 10 times worse. I couldn't walk. I couldn't roll. I couldn't move. And the scariest part of the whole thing was I had very limited mobility in my legs. So I imagine looking at your legs, telling your legs to move, and they just not doing anything. So that was a scary part. So immediately told the wife. She's homesick, of course. But so I told her, like, hey, somebody's got to take me to the ER. I didn't know if it was a spinal cord injury or like something stupid like nerve damage or something. So I was like, something's gotta happen. So my mom actually came and got me, and it took me every bit of 45 minutes to get out of bed, pee, and get out my front door because I collapsed once in the bathroom and couldn't get up, like physically couldn't get up. And the pain was so bad that like Shayna couldn't pick me up, or like my mom couldn't pick me up or anything. So that was an ordeal. Had another episode getting into the car. Long story short, we go to the ER and I have a mild, whatever that means, a mild slip disc / bulge in my L3, L4. So that's the bulge of the vertebrae membrane or whatever it is was pushing on the nerves in my legs, which was causing the extreme pain and causing my legs to not work. So long story short, the doc says that I'll be good to go. I just need to rest it for about a week. I'm thinking honestly that it might take longer because I have done absolutely nothing besides lay on the couch. And honestly, for this podcast since Sunday, this is the first time I've sat up. Normally I'm in so much pain that I can't sit. I was going to start editing one of our videos and I couldn't last more than 10 minutes and I had to lay down on the couch. So popped a Vicodin. I'm hoping to get through this podcast, but things happen, life happens. It was probably one of the worst financial weekends that I've ever experienced as an adult, but it could have been worse. I could have been paying, regular shot price for my tranny. I could have been, I could have paralyzed myself. Like, there's always worse things in life.
You could have died. So, I mean, it could have been worse. You could have died, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I'm alive. Like it's not a big deal. Oh, and then another thing that really bummed me out, which it's right in front of me, but I can't reach it. And I can't get to it, but
we'll throw
I'll
up
show
a
it on
picture.
Camera maybe.
Yes,
Yeah, I can
send me the. I got the
picture.
picture. I'll put it on.
So I had to get an MRI, and they were like, "Do you have any metal? Blah blah blah. Like any screws or plates in your body?" Of course, I don't have anything. And I was like, the only thing I can't get off is my wedding band. And the nurse was like, or I should say the MRI tech or whoever it was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to take that off." And I'm like, "Well, I haven't had this ring off in a couple years." And for some reason, my hand was swollen. I'm not sure why either, which was frustrating. So we put some. They actually had KY jelly lube. Not sure why they had that at the ER, but we lubed up my finger.
Literally for reasons like this.
Yeah, we lubed up my finger and we tried to pull it off. We had two nurses yanking on it. And then I took the string method, like where you tuck the string underneath and like wrap your finger and then you grab from the back side and twist. I pulled so hard that I made my finger bleed and I couldn't get my ring off. So finally I was like, they were like, "We're going to have to cut it off." And I have not taken that ring off more than, 30 seconds or so since we've been married. And Shane and I have been together or married for, I think, 6 years now. So maybe it was a sign that I need to get a bigger size or something because I have gained a little weight since marriage. But yeah, I don't want to talk about I don't want to sit here and say that woe is me. I just wanted to give everybody the updates, give everybody the reason why I'm not in studio. But I'd love to get into some trail camera talk, and sooner or later I'll get better. So that's it is what it is. Yep. So
okay, and then before
that's me.
Yep, Cromer's gonna give us a little hot insight into his life because if you haven't noticed, Cromer's been gone for a while as well on the podcast, and he didn't see the sunlight for 30 days.
30 days,
the whole month of
31.
Yeah.
I never saw the sun. I was in my basement. So, like we said, we'll edit this out if I think it's inappropriate. We'll see how things go. But I got the privilege of working with Kafaru International, and a couple of podcasts ago when I talked about a quiver that was so light, I think I said it was light 40 times. That quiver gave me an opportunity to work with Kafaru and my quiver insert. So I talked with the owner Kafaru, and he wanted me to jump in and help create that for Kafaru. So I did. So I made a lot of them for Kafaru, and more than I mean, yeah, it was a lot. So I don't even know how many hours I worked in my house to get this order prepared for Kafaru. And I've never worked so hard in my life. Like, I'm telling you, plus I worked my 40-hour week job on top of it. And I didn't step outside one time. About 10 minutes I stood outside one night. And that was the only, I'm not kidding, that was the only time I was outside. I was in my basement, or if I had to walk to work, because I work in Cleveland. I literally did not see the sun when I was home for 31 days. I was in my basement, and
if you experienced a power outage in Northeast Ohio, it's because Cromer's basement had so many 3D printers going that it sucked all the energy out.
Yeah, I think I had. I have 16 printers at my house, but 3 are
all running on one extension cord.
That's not a joke. They were all on one extension cord.
Matt and I discussed this, and I don't care if we have to help you. We will be changing some things in your house before
it
you
worked
start
good.
No, it did not.
No, when I was over there and you tuned my bow and stuff,
yeah.
I felt that cord, and it was
it a little bit warm?
It was pretty warm.
Yeah.
It wasn't hot, but man, that was the hottest extension cord I've ever.
Well, you know how it is sometimes.
You are about to have a child in that house. We are going to make
sure
that it's not going to burn down.
Well, listen,
son.
I bought smoke detectors. And
that'll help.
And then I also bought one of those live cams that you can put, and so I was, and it detects sound and motion and stuff. So if I wasn't home and the house caught on fire,
we're gonna rewire that sucker so that it's
my dad said it would help me too. So we're
gonna get you on some separate breakers. We can't all them
a breaker per printer.
Yeah.
Listen, we did fine, boys.
Hey,
we got through it. But I was planning on redoing some of my electrical downstairs. But anyways,
you do what you can with what you got.
Yeah, and it did work, and I got the job done. And I got them done. I said, they asked me a time frame. I said end of July. And I was like, all right. So I worked my last day. They're not going to hear this, but my last day that I worked 24 hours between my job and Kafaru, and it was going into the morning of August 1st, and I was sitting there gluing some stuff, and all of a sudden, I start to see the sunrise, and I hear the birds chirping, and I was like, oh man, that was a long night. So then I went to bed about 6 a.m., woke up at noon, and then I went and shipped all my inserts for Kafaru. So that was quite the experience. The month of July. So
that's awesome. Man.
Why don't you tell people where they can find the inserts, etc. Chromes?
Yeah, so it's going to be on Kafaru's website. So if you've got a Kafaru quiver and you want to try this insert out, it's officially going to be on their website. By the time this has come out, they have a marketing video done, so you can see how it works and what they how they portrayed it. But it's ambidextrous. You can flip it upside down. It's or upright, doesn't matter. And then it's got two large holes in the middle for the majority of your arrows, and then there's some smaller holes on the outside of it that can hold your favorite 2 arrows or your junk arrows. Like if you break an arrow or something, you just got to look at it and you'll see. But I think it makes it the best quiver out there now because it has some structure too, holding the arrows. So yeah, that's me. That's why I haven't been on for a month, because
Cromer's just been big balling while we're out here
working really hard.
We've dropped some subtle hints. I think
so.
Throughout. Yeah, while you've been gone.
If somebody's following us that close, text me. I'll give you one for free.
Well, in the
if you were
in the podcast that's airing tomorrow, as when we're recording this, since we're ahead on these.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we stumbled because we were like, Cromer was going to share, and we're like, absolutely not yet. Which good thing we didn't, because it's coming out tomorrow and it hasn't dropped yet.
Yeah.
So, but we're close to September right now, so this should be already out. So
go check them out. Go get one.
Yeah, go get you one. So that's me.
Old Wayne County boy making moves.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and they They said that they wanted some more though, right?
Yeah, we're talking about if it goes well, we'll do some more. So, and it's I'm excited because I know a lot of guys that go to the TAC events. They're always going to those there's always like a tent area with a bunch of
vendors
and stuff. And I know that they sell a ton of quivers there. So it'd be cool if I could like go help them at the booth, or I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll be able to drop some inserts off and help some at the booth at the TAC events.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, it'd be super cool. That's just me. Nobody over there said anything about it, but I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'd save on shipping too, because
Yeah.
shipping wasn't bad though. It was worse than. I'll tell you a quick story about the shipping. I was in UPS, and I use, and this is a pro tip for anybody, use Pirate Ship. It's a third party shipping company that you can pay for shipping through. So I'm in UPS. I'm like, talking to this lady. I'm like, if I sent you guys a label, would you be able to like scan it and print it off? She's like, because I told her I want to use this, a third party vendor. She's like, yeah, sure. So I went out to my car, used this Pirate Ship, probably saved almost $200.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was an email, and I emailed the lady at UPS all my labels that I paid for in my car, and it was no different than going into the store and buying them. And with insurance too, and I've added insurance on them as well.
Yeah.
And I guarantee I saved at least $200.
Don't doubt it.
So, little pro tip. Yep.
How much was that? How much was that?
It was like $260 to ship it.
Oh my.
$260, but it would have been like
$350,
$400 if I went through standard
How?
rates.
No, thank you.
So each box was 64 pounds. Yeah.
And how many boxes did you ship?
2.5. So
2.5.
But they were big boxes though.
Yeah,
too.
22 by 22 by 22 inches. The
Like
biggest
what,
the biggest moving box that Lowe's has. I went to Lowe's and found the biggest moving box that they sold. Then I duct tape it.
What was your final total? 650 or 700?
750.
750.
750. Yeah.
Nice.
So
That's a lot of inserts.
Yeah.
absolutely. So good stuff.
We're proud of you, Chrome.
I appreciate it. So I took.
You look rejuvenated right now.
I slept. Yeah, I slept. I slept the last 2 days.
New man.
I'm back to normal. I'm back to getting after it. So
Hey, you can shoot your bow now.
Yeah, well, here I am. I'm not shooting my bow. But yeah, I'll start shooting my bow. Yeah, I need to. I got to shoot. And then also, if you're this far in, 17 minutes, August 12th, it won't be out. Never mind. There's a shoot August 12th. I need people to sign up for.
Yeah, this will be past that.
Yeah, take on it. That's not doing great. I'm not happy about that. There's not that many people signed up. So.
Sorry.
-2. Yeah.
I think it's just late in the year though. Like a lot of
so,
people
too.
start checking out like around August.
It's too close.
It's a weird time because
it's
a weird time because there's a ton of tournaments happening. But like you said, the average guy, like the diehard target guy, there's a lot of tournaments in August. But the guys that borderline target in hunting, they've already, like you said, they've already kind of are making.
I mean,
that
they're
switch.
they're doing their tunes on their hunting bow.
Yeah, as I have a guy every single night at my house to tune bows.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'd say once August 1st hits, like most anybody that's on the fence, like Jarrett said, is definitely switching to hunting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, one more thing. Buy merch. We got when this airs,
we will have merch in full swing. Hopefully,
why don't you guys talk about that a little bit?
Hopefully, we'll be sold out by the time this sucker airs.
Yeah, honestly, we got
hats,
shirts. Show them, Kevy. Kevin's opening the shirt
first,
right now.
Yeah, first you got to show him this nice wrapper.
All the shirts will
Nice
come
packaging.
prepackaged.
Nice
Yeah.
With a size on
with
it.
a size on it. Crack that puppy open.
Man.
T-shirts.
I haven't even seen the shirts yet. Yeah, if you're watching this, or if you're listening to this currently, we are unwrapping a shirt, showing it on the video format.
Yep.
Born Again, bow hunting, black and white, traditional tee.
You got it. Are we doing? Yeah. I think they'll be 25. I think. Or the t-shirts 25. Yeah. T-shirts are 25, and then we'll have hats as well.
So the hats actually, by the time this airs, the hats will actually be live and probably sold out.
Probably.
Because we got a limited amount, but we've got 3 different varieties of hats, and they're going to range from $25 to $30. We got some rope hats coming in, so they're a little bit different style, and those ones were a little bit more expensive on our end.
Yeah.
We're 100% not making very much on these hats
or
shirts in general.
No, we're not making. I
mean, we're making like $5. To be completely honest with everybody, we're making like $5 off of each, piece of merchandise. we're mainly just doing this for you guys, and we want to say thank you, and we want to give anybody the opportunity to support the podcast channel, etc. So,
And it looks good too. It's
yeah.
good merch.
and it's high quality stuff.
Yeah.
The hats are really nice. The shirts are really nice, and
Mhm.
and there's only more to come. This is just kind of like
Yeah.
a temporary
This
kind
is
of run to see
for
how
Matt's
things go.
conscience, so that he knows that we can sell stuff.
Yeah. I spent way too much money.
That's all right. But yeah, if you guys are watching this and if stuff sells out before you get to watch this on YouTube or listen to this,
We'll get more.
hit us up and tell us what you want. Shirts. Tell us what you want. Hats. I mean, tell us you
Yeah.
want one. Make sure that we know we not got to get another order in. So
Yeah.
Send us
absolutely.
send us a DM that says "Attention Matt," so that he knows everybody that wants a shirt
Attention,
or a
Matt.
hat.
I want a hat.
Yeah,
Do it. Absolutely
Yeah.
do it.
And then for anybody that will be at the archery shoot, I don't know if we've announced a date yet for your guys' church. We'll have some merch there.
Yeah.
And then
If it's not sold
anyone
out,
that is going to premiere, but I guess this
This'll be
podcast will
past-
this
air
will be
after
past
that.
premiere.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Man, we're whipping out
Scratch that.
podcasts stuff too far in advance.
Yeah.
Can't even give people
Yeah.
current events.
the archery shoot will
No.
be September 16th.
Yeah, that's
Saturday, September 16th.
Yep.
From like 2 to 8, I believe. So, but we'll let you know.
This will come out before the archery shoot though, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll
Yep.
have merch there.
Yep. Have merch there. Come and check it out. It'll be blasted on our Instagram and stuff before the event, so you should see it.
Yep.
But yeah, come shoot your
And
bow.
Cromer got us hooked up with all the what is it, Shopify or whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
Yep.
Everything will be live
So we'll
online.
be able to everything can be purchased online.
Yeah.
We'll have maybe like a QR code at the shoot, so you can just scan in and then pay online or whatever. We can just give you the shirt. I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
Maybe
we
Cromer has a
can. You
better
can
idea.
do. You can do a discount code that is like free shipping. So like you would just like if whatever event we're at, we would have a discount code that I can make in 2 seconds, and then you enter that when you pay for it on your phone, and then you can just walk away with it.
Nice.
But
Yep, or cash. Cash works.
Cash
too.
works too. So
Well,
Let's crack into this.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
let's
20
get
minutes in, catching up people up.
we had
yeah.
a little bit of a life update for you, but now we're going to dive into the trail camera stuff, what you guys really came in here for. So we're going to talk about how we run cameras, any kind of tips and tricks we use, batteries we use, any solar panels, you name it. So yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. So currently we're running the Wise Eye cell cams.
Nice
Big
shirt,
time
Kevin.
Wise Eye cell cam. Yeah.
Kevin's got the
Dude, and I
merch
should have
on
wore.
for
I
him.
I have one
Did you
too.
get
I
one?
should have wore it. Dang it.
They're nice shirts.
Should have
really.
said something.
They're pretty sweet.
They are nice shirts.
Yeah. So yeah, we really enjoy the Wise Eye cameras. The quality is fantastic. Service is phenomenal. I mean, we haven't put one of these cell cams anywhere where we haven't found service yet.
Yeah.
which
I
is
haven't.
which is hard to find because like we'll be looking at our phones and you'll have no service to
A
even
bar.
send a text message hardly,
Yeah.
and boom, you can get a picture from that camera. So that's very impressive. They've really came a long way.
I don't know how they do that,
Yeah.
but they
I
do
don't
it.
know.
They must be in the back pocket of Verizon or AT&T.
Somebody's got to be.
Them Louisiana boys. They must have a contact.
Somebody's
Yeah.
got to.
Yeah, and then I don't know if I'm confused on when this will air versus when there is a newer camera coming out. I think they have announced it on their social media that they have a new camera coming out.
Mhm.
I'm not going to get into details if this airs before or after the release date, but I will say very good things about the new camera. We have a few of them in our hands. We have not had an opportunity to actually get them out, but if they're anything like they say they are, watch out
Mhm.
because let's
They-
just say that there's double the strength on the
Signal.
antennas.
Yeah.
The signal. So there's double the strength, and they say you can throw them babies in a dark hole and they'll find service.
Yeah.
So that's really nice for anybody in Ohio that's hunting, the big woods, or anybody in general that's hunting big woods. You can drop them down in those deep hollers and still get service.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Absolutely.
but as far as the non-cell cameras, we can talk a little bit about that.
Mhm.
Obviously, everybody knows that we run strictly Wise Eyes for ourselves. We've had great experience, like Kevin was talking. those cameras are located in places where we really want instant intel. Um, a lot of like this time of year, especially, they're over a food source. I mean, a grassy meadow, water source, your typical summer patterns. But I'm running a lot of cheap wild games, cheap Amazon cameras, and some Brownings for my non-cells. Wiseye actually does not make a non-cell camera. So for cameras that I want to just use as like a burner, let's say, I really like the Brownings for video mode, and I've had a lot of luck with wild game and just some cheap Amazon cameras for just some burner spots that I can put anywhere in the woods that I just want year-round data. A lot of these cameras I'm not checking more than maybe twice a year. I'm just throwing them in spots where I want them to soak, and I'm using my cell cameras to get my instant data. So I'll move my cell cameras around, and I'll leave my SD cards to just soak. One mistake that I think a lot of guys are making this time of year, or I should say, not this time of year, but this transition of cell cameras, is they're getting rid of their non SD cards, or excuse me, they're getting rid of their non cells. And I think that that's a mistake, because you are still, with a cell camera, you want instant data, you want instant satisfaction, you want instant, like, if you're not getting pictures, you're moving that baby. Well, with a non cell, you can let that baby sit for 6 months, and we all know that there's spots that get hot during certain times of the year. And I've listened to a lot of podcasts where guys are like, "Oh, I went strictly cell camera this year," or "Oh, I switched all my non-cells to cells." And I just don't think that's a good idea. If they're paid for and you already have them and they work, don't get rid of them, because like I said earlier, there's a lot of spots that only get hot maybe 2-3 weeks out of the year, and if you have that camera out in the woods soaking, it's just intel for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big believer in the historical data. I'm a big believer in bucks will travel relatively the same time from year to year. So if he shows up on one scrape on October 29th one year, the next year he's probably going to show up on that scrape, give or take a few days of that picture. If it's a random buck and he's not dead, of course. But I don't know if what you guys have experienced with that, or what kind of cameras you guys are running for non-cells.
So for me, for non-cells, I have a lot of the wild game cameras, and I've had fairly good luck with those. Like, they typically hold up 2 to 3 seasons before they kind of take a dump on me. But for the most part, they're pretty accurate on like trigger speed and good quality photos.
I would say that for sure. Trigger speed seems to be,
especially for the price point.
Correct.
And then I've ran some of the really cheap Tascos from Walmart and had surprisingly good luck with those. And we've talked to a few people, and they've all had good luck with those Tascos.
Yeah.
They seem to hold up, and I think I'm on like year 4 or 5 on a couple of them.
And picture quality is not great, but they take the picture and you can see the deer.
Yep. So I like to run those on like 3 photo burst. Typically the first one of it coming into frame is blurry. The second one is okay. And the third one kind of is going out. But that way I got one good picture of a deer. And one time it was this little buck, but he was flying through this area, and it was blurry, crystal clear, blurry. And like, it was just a cool, like, shot of like midair. Just, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Does it take like 3 burst photos, or what does it do?
Yeah. Some of them, a lot of those, I would say most cameras have that option.
Either
like
2
a
or
burst
3.
mode.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Tascos would be that good to have 3 bursts.
They're advanced, son.
I wouldn't say they're good, because you get 1 out of 3 pictures that is
better
clear,
than
but
0 out of 3.
That is correct.
So yeah, those are my non-cell cams, and then like we said earlier, cells are all Wiseye stuff.
Yeah, but that's a good tip for anybody that is running some cheaper cameras to, with today's, you can get a 16 gig camera or card that'll get you, 3,000-4,000 pictures.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I promise you, unless there's a branch or, weeds in front of it blowing, you're not going to go through that in a season.
You're not getting that of deer.
No, that's a good tip to throw your cheaper cameras on a burst mode. So, I mean, you really won't miss anything.
Yeah.
But
very good tip. Yeah.
I
And
like doing
I would say the same for me. I mean, the wild games, I've had those. I have a few still, but I've used a lot of those Muddy Pros. They're brown. You can buy them in like a pack where you get the batteries and a 16 gig SD card with it, and they're for getting batteries, a 16 SD card. They're not horribly priced.
No,
and they work good. They take a lot of pictures. They take the pictures all right. Picture quality is not so hot, but you don't. I would say picture quality is not crazy necessary if you can put it in a spot where the deer are going to be close, and you just need to get a picture.
To know that he's in there at this time period or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they work well.
Yeah, and most of these cameras anymore come with like what you said, like with a pack of a 2-pack or a 4-pack of the camera itself and the SD cards and batteries to run them. And typically, like at the end of the season, you can pick those packs up for pretty cheap for the next season coming up.
Correct.
Yeah. Last year's models going out, like after Christmas, you can find a lot of good deals on cheaper cell cams.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I would say, going off kind of what you said, my non-cells, when I put those out, I would say I don't really hardly ever put a non-cell on like a scrape, or I'll put those in like a field edge corner that I know the deer use some, but I'm not going to put a cell cam there because I know that they don't use that all the time, and I'm not going to get them. I'm not going to get, like Matt said, like instant stuff that I want to know. I'll put it on like a deep corner, or I'll put it on like a creek crossing that I don't really need to know, right now that there's deer going across the creek. And I'll put those in like a bedding area where I think is a bedding area, and I want to know like what's in there throughout the year.
Yeah.
Like I'll put one in. I've got a bedding area that I haven't put it in. Normally I have a camera in there by now because the bucks normally aren't really in there now, and then when they transition, they'll be in there hot for a solid month, and then they like slowly peter out. And that's kind of like where I'll put my non-cells. I don't put those on scrapes, and I don't put them on main trails coming out into the food source that I want to know for like this first couple weeks of Ohio season. Like that's one thing that I would say is a hot tip is put a cell in a place where maybe you're getting the most deer movement that you want to know stuff now.
Yeah, that way you can move in and make a
but also throw in that same area, throw a non-cell that you can pick up at the end of the season and be like, okay, he came through here, once a week, and he was always going this direction, stuff like that you don't really need to know right now, but would be really good to know later for the next years.
I said, as somebody that doesn't hunt that much, I have like a good idea. Like if you have a spot that you think is great, and you throw the cell cam out, and you're not seeing anything, when you leave to take the cell cam, put a non-cell there. Put the Tasco out there because you thought it was a good spot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a good spot in that moment.
You might be
for that 2 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you go back at the end of the year like, oh crap, that was a good spot. I know when to put that cell cam out next year.
Yep.
Not this year.
That is a great idea.
No, that's actually a great point. And I was kind of bounce off of what you said, Cromer, because the way I look at it is like, if I 100% want to put a camera there, you're walking through the woods, you're scouting, you're like, oh man, I need to put a camera there. Normally those are my cell cams. I'm like, okay, I need a camera there. But you always have those spots where you're like, well, I could put one there. There is some sign. It's not the greatest, but it's like, I think he could be slipping back door. Anything that you're questioning or anything that's not like 100%, that's where I normally put my non-cells. And like I said earlier, I'm only checking those maybe 2-3 times a year. If I do have a non-cell that's like in route to where I want to go, and if it's only 50, 100 yards out of the way, I might check it more frequently. If I want to swing in, check it, and then go to where I want to go for my final destination. But like 9 times out of 10, I am not checking them cameras. Right. I'll check them once before season opens up, maybe like a couple weeks before season. I'll go in and check them, and then I'll check them like maybe like right before the rut, and then that's about it. And then maybe late season, so like realistically maybe 3 times a year, but I'm not doing it every week. And guys, if you are doing it every week, please stop. Like, I know everybody's excited. I mean, for real though, I know everybody's excited. Everybody wants to know what's on their cameras.
Just stop.
But you are doing nothing but harm.
Yeah.
If you are going in there every Friday pulling the card, restocking your bait site, and like that. Come on, like
Well,
I know it's fun. I know everybody likes to do it, but you are just educating your deer, in my opinion.
and
I just
especially
Go
if
ahead, Kev.
you put that camera in a spot where you think that deer are going to be in there frequently, like you're just pushing them out at that point. If you're checking it once a week,
That's why you cell cams, right?
you're intruding
That's why we
way
have
too
cell
much.
cams.
That's why
why we
we
have
use cell
Wi-Fi.
cams.
Yep.
Yeah. And then if you're not getting this is the dumbest thing to say, but that's the awesome part about the cell cams is if you got the activity, you see it on your phone. You're not going in to check it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no activity, then you can go get it because there's no deer in front of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
stupid simple.
And, in this, we know this podcast isn't going to be like information that you're just going to write down and
Yeah.
run with, because most of the stuff that we're saying is pretty basic knowledge. Maybe a few things that people can take, but also I want to point out, as much as we rely on cell cameras, and I know that this is something that I do as well, like I don't hunt over them.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to explain myself there. Like I use them as a tool. They're only a tool, and I don't rely 100% on them, and I don't hunt over them, meaning like I don't only go to the woods because of what my camera's telling me. A lot of times, we've all seen it. A lot of times deer will, you'll be sitting in your tree and you can see your camera, and maybe like 15 deer, 20 deer came through during the rut or gun season or whatever, and you might have only got 5 or 6 of them on your camera. I mean, it just happens. Like that camera is not going. Think about the narrow window that camera can see, and you're relying on that camera to dictate where you're going to hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not realistic. So use it as a tool. Especially if you're somebody that's not really big into the cell cam game, but you want to become a little bigger in the cell cam game, definitely use it as a tool, but don't rely on it.
Yeah.
Because you can get caught up in the, well, I'm not going to go hunting because I don't have anything on camera, and that buck could still be in the area. He could be skirting your camera because,
just walking right behind.
Seriously, them boys, they're smart, and they know what that camera is.
Right.
I mean, they know exactly what it is. So
yeah,
I guess that's just my little point.
So what you said kind of bounced into what else I want to talk about is I want to hear what everybody's camera height is. I want to know, do you set your cameras? Obviously, it's going to be different because we're all different heights, but some people, I used to set my camera's chest height just right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot tell you, I can think of 3 specific large deer that I got on camera. I got a picture of their heads just entering the camera space. I got a picture of them staring at that camera, and I never got another picture again. They were never to be seen. Now, whether if he was after that taking a trail that was 50 yards back behind that camera, or whether if he just kind of chose a new place to be, those deer were gone. And that is what kind of kickstarted me into stick on the tree way up yonder so the deer can't see it. And I want to hear everybody's opinion on that. So I'll give mine real quick. Almost every camera now that I set, whether if it's a cell, non-cell, doesn't matter, I will put one of my mini sticks on the tree. And then by the time I get above my head to set that camera, I bet that camera's
you're probably
10
I would
feet.
say 10.
feet.
Yeah.
And when I first started putting cameras on, I was like, why do people hang them so high? Like, what is the point of that? It's already this high, but I'm telling you, stop hanging your cameras right here, because I don't know the last time I had a deer look at my camera up there and disappear. They just walk right by.
So I've had something very similar to that. So I made a mock scrape a couple years ago, and there's only one tree about 6 or 7 inches in diameter, and I hung a camera on there. And this one buck I was watching all summer out in the bean field came through there, and he hit the scrape I made, and he seen the camera, or he heard it click on or whatever,
Right.
and I had it on video mode, and his eyes locked on that camera, and like he did like one of the the head
head bobs.
And then he was out of there, and I didn't see him again that season. And like you said, he could have been just going around that area and like wind checking that scrape. I have no idea. But yeah, I hadn't seen him since then. So since then, I either try to pick a tree with like a bunch of vines or something on there. Like right now, the 2 cell cams I have out, one of them is on this like horizontal limb with a bunch of vines and stuff behind it. And I haven't had a single deer pick
Kinda
that
hides
out.
it.
It hides it very well.
Yeah.
And the other one is like 2 trees kind of offset with some vines behind it. But unless I have the ideal situation like that, I'll go do something similar, like what you said, is go put my stick down and go up to that 8-foot mark roughly and hang my camera and just angle it down.
Jarrett, your little story reminds me of the horror stories of Airbnb, where people rent Airbnbs and they find cameras
up
in the
high.
houses, and then when they see the cameras when they're in the bathroom, they're not too happy. And I imagine those bucks feel the exact same way.
Yeah, them bucks are just in their zone, and they're like,
Hey,
"What in the world? That is not from this earth."
yeah, but they can't complain. To
He's over there on the
Airbnb.
scrape.
Yeah.
He's on that scrape just peeing on his hocks, and he looks up.
Hey.
There's a camera staring at him.
Dude. Yeah. For real though, I think that putting your cameras higher is essential anymore.
Yeah. It's not
Especially with the amount of cameras that are out now. I mean, you get a buck around here that's, 160, 180, and I guarantee you he's looked at 100 cameras.
Oh, absolutely.
I bet he's locked eyes with 100 cameras where he's at.
I mean, they've got to associate death and deer cameras eventually.
You would think.
Eventually, they're probably going to make
Well,
that
I mean, like,
connection.
With danger.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell me that they can't smell it. Like
Oh,
the
true.
strap,
Right.
Yeah.
the camera. I mean, the plastic. Like I know plastic doesn't hold a lot of scent, but it still has its own scent.
Yeah.
And the strap itself, like you cannot tell me that camera doesn't smell. And unless you let them soak for a year outside, which nobody's ever doing, like prior to hanging it up, unless you hang it with gloves, and they're still going to smell where you walk. See, like I don't get too crazy about the scent, but I 100% agree with what Jarrett and both Kevin were saying about the height. I think it's very situational on the attitude of the mature deer. Some deer are real skittish. Some deer don't care. I think we talked about this on the last podcast, but like everybody has a quote unquote Hollywood buck that, I nicknamed him Hollywood because I got a million pictures of him. And some people, a buck will get on camera once and they never see him again. I think it's situational, but I do think that the height, I'm hanging mine, like Jarrett said, I'm going like 10 foot, 8 foot, 10 foot. And I think the height helps with those skittish deer. They're not seeing those cameras. And another tip is, like, if you're putting it on a food source, let's rewind for a second. On a food source, I don't really think it matters on height. I might try to get them a little bit higher, but I'm using more of what, like Kevin said. I'm trying to like hide the camera and use something to break it up, up that figure of the camera. But so on a food source, like I said, I don't think it matters. But on a trail, I try not to put cameras directly in front of where I think deer are walking. So I'm always doing like at a 45-degree angle. I don't like going at a 90-degree angle from the trail because I feel like sometimes it just happens.
Yeah.
Like you just miss pictures.
They're
And
too fat.
you'll either get a picture of their butt or you'll get a picture of their, it just happens. So I always like to do 45s and then I try to go up higher. And ever since I've done that, like Jarrett said, I haven't had many pictures. The wife just scared me. I haven't had many pictures of deer looking at the camera.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and I would say
if
you go.
Go ahead.
I would say that 45-degree angle from like the trail, or like if you have a scrape and there's a trail coming through and you know that deer comes from here, hits the scrape and exits this way, having it so that he will not be hitting that scrape if he comes this way and staring at that camera, having that camera over here at a 45-degree angle, not a 90-degree angle. I think that's a big hot tip because I used to stick stuff at a 90-degree angle and you would get literally the whole body except for their head, or you would just get a butt. And because a lot of time deer will just randomly run down a trail. Yeah. So the 45-degree angle is a big hot tip in my opinion.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like we can sit here and say my camera is better than your camera, but it doesn't matter what camera you're running. All cameras eventually will make mistakes, and all cameras can't capture everything. It's technology. How many times do you have to restart your phone? How many times you got to restart your laptop? Like technology messes up. It's not perfect. And, I just try to put cameras in places that optimize my own stupidity and the camera's stupidity. Right. So like what Jarrett was saying with that 45-degree angle, I mean, it's almost bulletproof where you're at least going to get somewhat of a rack in the frame.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to tell somewhat what he is. And a lot of times all you need is that verification that he's alive if it is a target buck that you're hunting, and then you're in the game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anything else, you guys? I'm sure we're probably an hour into this by now.
Yeah, we're getting close. Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, in my eyes, once you see a camera, you see it every single time. Like, if you're on public land and you happen to walk past somebody's camera or something, even though you know it's there, when you look at that tree, it stands out so much to you. And, like, a deer would do the same thing.
I'm sure.
I have yet to find a camera that, like, blends in good. I don't care what kind of camo it is, shape or anything. It's just, like, once you see that shape or figure, it stands out so much.
There's a camera, a camera with an antenna. And what I was always told, and what I've by some guys that have run cameras for a long time, they said, I was always told, do not use a strap because that strap goes perfectly around the tree in like this perfect circle.
Yeah.
And where do you see that in nature?
Nothing.
Never do you see this perfect strap going perfectly around a tree, like a perfect ring. You almost never see that. So I never use straps. I always use a screw-in type.
Bungee cord.
Well, yeah, I don't use that.
on your private.
But seriously, and once I started thinking about it, because think about it, you set that camera at chest or head high, and you run a strap around, and there's this perfect ring around the tree.
It goes around the whole tree.
And it's like, huh. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't tangle up their ends.
So you got a tag end,
and you've got this wind, this end that's in the wind, and there's perfect ring around the tree, and you're like, well, that's kind of weird. And then there's a camera.
Yep.
I have caught on public. I will be walking and I won't see the camera and I'll see the strap.
Mm-hmm.
You're like walking, you're like, oh, what? Oh, it's a strap. And then you go around the other side of the tree and there's a camera.
There's a camera. Yep.
That's something that I've noticed big time. But
on public, you can't use a screw-in thing.
Right.
So on public, we're forced to use the strap system.
Right.
But hey, we have to do it. But yeah, on private, I use a thing that goes into the tree and then a little
I use
head
it's HME. Yeah, those are the ones that I buy. They just screw in and they've got a head that you can tilt up and down to get your angle right.
Yeah.
I use
like
those on all the private stuff because I think that's a big thing.
Yeah,
honestly.
We were talking about this on the last podcast, I think, with Caleb, and I brought up, Jared, I want to see if you know what I'm talking about. Kevin wasn't familiar. Jake Bush uses like tie wire for his cameras. Are you familiar with that?
The rubbery, but it's got like the metal core. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So like he'll use wire to tie, and he'll just take pliers and he'll just twist it on the back end.
And it's very
he
thin.
claims that it's real tiny. It's
why.
like a 14 gauge or like a 16 gauge wire, and he uses that so people can't see the strap because, like you said, that's the most common thing.
I've heard that, and I remember when I heard that, I was like, man, that's genius because it is such a thin wire that you're at least not even the human eye. You won't pick that up like a inch thick strap that goes around a tree.
It'd have to be right in front of your face for you to see that wire.
And now that you say that, I swear I saw something. I thought it was today. Somebody came out with like a super grip clamp that you put your camera on, and it's real short, so it's not like a GoPro clamp that has this long bendy arm. It's real short, and you can clamp that. It's a big clamp, so you can clamp it on like
a branch or something,
really hefty branch that comes out, and it's locked on there, and stick your camera on that instead of running a strap. I could have swore I saw it today. I either saw it or I had a dream about it last night, so maybe I should patent it.
You better patent it. Have Cromer start making
it. There we go. Seriously though, that would, for the right people, would think that that's genius.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's made. I have no doubt.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere.
Cromer just wants to see the sun. He's like, I ain't trying to print that.
Yeah, he's like, put your ideas in your pocket.
Yeah, you print this thing if you came up with it.
But yeah, that
Cromer
would be.
will actually start loaning out his printers.
No, I'm not. But
yes. Boys.
But that's another great solution along with the wire that just kind of makes it so you can't see that strap. Because I think that strap is a huge just breaking point for me.
Yeah.
As the cat's licking his butt in the background.
Got to go to YouTube for that,
I don't know,
folks.
can you guys even see that or not?
Oh yeah.
I can see the cat. I can't see what he's doing.
He blends into your couch a little too well.
Well, right now he's giving you a show. So if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah. I
So-
mean,
There's yeah.
I
got
have a
something?
question. What kind of batteries is everybody running? I don't think anybody's going to run any kind of lithium anymore, but I'm just curious to know what batteries.
yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna run like brand wise. I think the Duracell works the best. That's what I
Yeah.
so far. I mean, just Duracell alkaline batteries, man. I think
I
they run
did.
good.
I did bite the bullet and bought. I think 6 packs. I'll be honest.
Of lithium.
I think I bought 6 packs of lithiums
Yeah.
just because of
Put them in a different state.
I was going to put them in Indiana because
Yeah.
I didn't want the batteries to die
Yeah.
being, such a far drive.
Yeah.
So
Kevin,
that's
you
the only thing that I bought lithiums for. If I had any brain cells, I'm not buying lithiums for Ohio or
No.
Yeah.
Kentucky or
Places you can get
anywhere
to.
within a couple hour drive. I'm not spending $30 on 8 batteries.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That was just a price thing, Kevin.
Yeah,
That's all
I
you were
was just-
saying. Yeah.
So like
Big
I
time.
used to run lithiums in everything
mm-hmm.
just because I could put it out there and then sit all season and still have
Yeah.
plenty of life left, let alone the cell cams.
Right.
Especially like in the extreme cold, the alkalines can freeze and burst in your cameras
Yeah.
and it can trash your cameras. With the lithiums, that's not an option. So I used to run lithiums and everything, but the price just
Did
went
the price go up
four-
recently?
It went up like 4 times
Oh,
of what
wow.
they used to
Dude,
be.
they're
So,
$30. They're $30 for 8 batteries.
yeah.
8 AA
Let's
batteries.
come out with
Yeah.
our own batteries. Let's figure out how to make lithium batteries, boys.
Yeah, and
We'll
I had a horror story.
You can go buy a Tesla and we'll cut it up.
I bought
steal the cobalt out of it.
I bought one of them monster packs lithiums last year, and I got duds.
Ooh.
Sue them.
It was bad,
I remember you talking about that.
dude.
Remember
I
when
was
you called
so
me
mad.
outside?
I put them in everything. I put them out, and like the cameras turned on. I was like, great, put them out. They lasted like, I bet it wasn't even a week. And I brought them home, and man, I did everything.
They make battery. They
I made sure they weren't cold.
Do they make battery testers for individual batteries?
I don't know. I stuck them in every
Yes.
battery
Kevin says
device
yes.
that I had, and
Yeah.
nothing worked. And I was like,
I'd return them,
that
dude.
was such a waste.
Just buy them on Amazon. You can just return them on Amazon.
So they do have a shelf life. So I wonder if like you had.
That's
a
what I was
backstock
thinking.
or
I
something.
think that there was like
Like
they
10
they
years
went to
old?
fill my order, and there was this pack that was stuck in the back of the hole, and the guy was like, "Oh, that'll do," and threw it in. And
blow the
the
dust
last
off
one.
of it.
It
and ship
didn't
off to
work.
Jarrett.
but yeah, not just that. That's not the only reason I'm not gonna run lithiums, but it's just the expense, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Especially when you're running as many cameras as we are. Like,
Yeah.
if I filled those with lithiums, I'd have to get a second job at McDonald's.
So,
Matthew.
I'll. So you said that. So now, we got a few more cameras. We got some of the new ones. They sent us some to try, and I had to update my plan because got a few more cameras and.
Are you on the
we're up
ranch
to a
plan yet? What do
few,
they call
boys.
Are you getting a dirty look right now?
No,
that? They were free,
because
right?
it's still cheaper than the ranch program. Treats me good, like it honestly does.
Yeah.
But I'm up to 30 now, boys. I got a problem.
Jeez.
People, close your ears.
It's a lot of
30
cams.
cells and probably close to 20
Nonsense.
nons.
Yeah.
And half of them aren't even out in the woods yet. So I got a lot of work to do.
Get out the wheelchair. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Get one of those motorized-
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I'll have to get him a track chair.
Yeah. Those are only like 10 grand. They're not bad.
Well, and you have 30.
Yeah.
You got 30 cell
I'll
cams.
trade in a
Big
few
deal.
cameras
Yeah, just
for
sell
it,
the
yeah.
sell
Just
all
sell
your
half your
cams and pay for it.
Sell half your cell cams and you'll get one of those motorized wheelchairs. You'll
Well,
be
how
fine.
many? You probably got close to that, Jerry. How many?
30,
Not 30, but
but no. I've got 10.
you're probably close. Dude, you need to buy 2 more and
I
then you're
know.
at the ranch program.
I know.
For real. And then
I know.
Your
Trust me. I think actually I have 2 in my cart right now. So
your bill will go down in half.
I know.
Your monthly bill.
I was telling my father about that today. I was like, yeah, I need to get 2 more. And he's like, well, you really like the cell cams, don't you? And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you about Matt.
I know a guy.
I know a guy with a problem. Oh, I know
Could be
there's
worse, you
I know
know?
there's many more,
Could be worse.
many worse people out there than you.
Maybe
Could be
like
worse.
5, honestly.
All right. Anything
Oh,
else?
that's funny.
Anything else at the forefront of your trail camera minds? If you want to know some hotter tips, listen to the other podcasts that are going to be in this series, because these are some guys that run a lot of cameras and have a lot of insight on just the whole trail camera game. So
yeah, this was just basically like a roundtable discussion for us. We wanted to give an update on Cromer, myself, and I mean Jerry and Kev. You guys might as well give an update on your guys' selves. I mean, I know you. Anything new happening or
no?
I built a tranny for a guy.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
in 8 hours?
Nothing really new for me, honestly.
We're just living life.
Yeah, softball's done now, so I got an extra free day a week now, so that's good.
We got to plan a trip to Indiana here soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah, you gotta get better first.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You need to be
I
able
was
to walk.
planning on going to Kentucky this weekend, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
I
because
was thinking about you. I was like, man, I might have to run some
Obviously,
cameras
that's not
places for
happening.
Matthew. We might have
No,
to. We might have
I mean,
to
I
get
appreciate
into
it, but
he doesn't
We'll
want to
make
give
it
up
work.
his spots. Is what it is.
no,
No, he knows. I know where they're at. That he needs to put some cameras, but
I know.
Yeah,
It's a team
Jerry's
thing.
hunted in those trees.
He's got too much pride to let another man go hang his wise eyes.
No, you know, I find it so much like
Yeah,
that is
it's
so
fun.
much fun to
I
me.
know.
Is like not saying that I wouldn't if I truly can't walk in like a week or two, I'll 100% give you guys gas money and say here you go. But like I just find so much. I don't want to say joy, but it's fun for me to hang cameras.
It's so
interactive.
interactive.
Yeah, the adventure side of it too. You find new stuff you want to hang camera over or whatever.
No, I seriously, I love the adventure side. Like I love just like walking on public and just never stepping foot on it in my life, and like going out there and like figuring out where these big deer are. I absolutely love it. So
yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Maybe we can get old Cromer to go hang some cams with us.
Yeah.
He's like, good luck with that.
No, I truly miss like just being outdoors and like all I miss the sun. I miss the sun. I miss the fresh air. I miss the outdoors. But, you know, I missed. I stayed safe in my basement from the Canadian wildfires. So maybe that's why I was stuck in my basement. Yeah.
Wildfires, right?
Yeah, and the next chapter of this series is conspiracy theories. Yeah,
but why don't we talk about what's coming up in the future, and then we probably wrap it up.
Yeah,
we're there.
We're at an hour.
So, after the Trail Cam series is over, there'll be this one that you guys are currently listening to, and then we'll have probably it's not scheduled yet at this point in time, but we'll probably have a Wise Eye podcast just talking about the ins and outs of the new camera.
That'd be cool.
And why it's better than the old one.
Right.
And basically why we run Wise Eye compared to any other brand of cell camera.
Yeah.
We partnered with those guys this year, and I want to make a valid point. I had 18 of their cameras before even reaching out to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody listening to this thinks like, oh, you just jumped on the bandwagon or whatever for like a free camera, that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
Jerry and Kevin both had.
The whole team had cameras. At least I think he had 3. I think I had 4. Black had 2 or 3. Obviously Matt had a few more, but we all had them before there was any talk of, hey, maybe we should try and see if we could, do something with this company. So the product was tried and true before any of that happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we truly, if you guys want to deal with, let's break it down a little bit. I want to talk about it a little bit. So Wise Eyes they're a little bit more expensive than your Tacticam or your Spy Point, but if you want a camera that's going to work 100% of the time, and if you want customer service that is just like top notch,
unmatched,
like it's such a small company. When you call in for customer service, 9 times out of 10, you are talking to one of the owners.
Right.
Like, think about that. Like, you're not talking to some, some dude across the seas in India. Like, you're talking to the owner of the company.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I personally would rather deal with a company like that and spend an extra $50 on the camera than, buy some, cheap, and I'm not going to knock on any other
Yeah, no
camera.
brands.
I just think that I personally think it's the best quality for the money. And I trust those guys and they trust us, and we have a good relationship, and that's all I'm going to say about it. And if anybody also, actually, I think the friends and family discount might end. We need to start advertising that.
Yeah,
we have a friends and family discount code that will save you a significant amount of money. We're not allowed to talk about how much, but if you guys reach out to us, we will hook you up with a code that I promise it's not a 10%er.
No,
this
helps.
is a very, very good code that is going to make that camera very reasonably priced compared to the other cheaper ones.
Yeah, it was on there, I think. But
like,
was it September or
end of
October?
August.
End of August.
Oh, okay. Well, will they catch us?
End of August.
Will they catch us in August? Maybe the last week of August.
And even if it
runs out, just hit us up and we'll try and figure something out.
Yeah,
we'll figure something out for you.
Well, and we also could start advertising it, or can we? Can we start? We can't put it on the story or anything like that.
We can advertise.
We just can't say how much it is.
We can't tell you what it is.
So maybe we'll start doing that on the story and stuff.
Because maybe on our
helps them, helps us.
Done that on our Wednesday.
We can do it next
Wednesday. Why is that Wednesday?
Post today. Yeah,
we'll do it next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget where we were going before I went down my tantrum. Not my tantrum, but my rabbit hole.
You were getting at like not just jumping on the bandwagon
and the reason, I mean, obviously we all have so many cell cams, but the reason we've landed with WiseEye is because we have had all these other cell cams and we have run into issues.
Yeah.
And like we've said about the other brands that we work with a small handful of brands, and we only work with brands that we trust and that we just truly love. And we've landed with WiseEye because we've had the competitors and we've had issues.
Yeah. Like,
so
one of the big
issues should speak volumes that we are willing to put these people with us and just preach it to you, because they're a great company, great people, and a great product.
Go ahead, Kev.
I want to touch on one of the issues I had with the previous cell cam. It needed a firmware update, and to do that, you had to physically go get the camera, bring it back home, and connect it to your computer to do the update.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I want to go into the woods and get my cell camera that I put at a spot where I don't want to intrude just for a firmware update? Like, it wouldn't take pictures. It wouldn't send nothing.
It did it while it was in the woods? It needed to be updated? That's weird.
With the WiseEye, if you need a firmware update, it'll do it, and it'll still send you current pictures, videos, whatever mode you have it set on, while it's updating the firmware. So that's impressive. That's cool.
That's impressive.
That was one thing that I did not like about the other brand, is because I put the camera there, it wasn't working. You get on the live chat with whoever from wherever, and like, well, you need a firmware update.
Yeah.
So it defeats the purpose of having a cell cam out there, really.
Right.
So, fun background story, and maybe we should save this for when we have the thing with WiseEye, but I just want to talk about this. So WiseEye, like, if you look it up, it's actually WiseEye Technologies, I believe, is their handle, like, on. So they were actually a software company before they were a camera company. So, like, I'm drawing a blank. What's it called? The Hunt Control, or I'm going to butcher that. What's the app called?
Hunt Control. Yeah.
So they designed that. So WiseEye designed the Hunt Control app before they designed the camera. So the app is, basically every time a deer comes in, it tells you the pressure, the temperature, the wind direction, whatever, all the weather data. So, like, to go back to what we were just talking about, the reason why their cameras flow so nice is because they have that software background, and they have some very intelligent people working for them that know that, like, that are also hunters, that know, like, hey, we don't want you to pull your camera from the woods. We don't want you to do this. We're going to push it remotely, and it's still going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. I like that a lot about those guys.
Me too.
But
cool.
Yeah,
well,
sounds good.
Let's say we wrap it up, boys.
It's
an hour and 5.
I'm good.
You good, Matt?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. As always, I just want to say one more thing. I do want to thank God for everything that He has given us and me. Cromer's opportunity,
Yep.
our new opportunity with merch, these companies that we work with, great friends. Kevin dropped everything he was doing to rebuild my transmission. Jarrett went and got parts to get the Dodge off the lift. I just can't thank you guys enough. And I want to thank God for putting me in the opportunity that I'm in. And even though this weekend was a terrible weekend and, I can't walk and like I've got back issues, but like it could always be worse, and like I've got friends around me and like I love you guys and I just want to give God all the thanks because without Him, we wouldn't be here. So
that's right.
I'm glad you said that because something I was actually thinking of today was like in the Bible it says God will not put you in a situation that you can't handle, and God knew that you were going to have this hard weekend, and He put us all in here to help you.
Yeah.
Because your transmission would have went out either way eventually.
Yep. But He put Kevin in your life because He knew He could fix it for you.
Yeah.
See?
Yep.
God put you, He knew you were going to have a hard
He
situation.
freaking picked you up too, by the way.
But
you said that before.
Right.
He picked you up and fixed it and sent you home.
That's right.
Man, full service.
Right.
Luckily, I had a friend with a gooseneck trailer.
Yeah, that's helpful.
By the way, if you are listening to this and you're not, go get you some tires for that trailer because I wouldn't haul anything else with that thing.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I appreciate you letting me borrow your trailer.
right. Yep.
That's
Definitely.
a podcast for a different day.
Oh,
just the whole story
absolutely.
about that.
The trailer story, yeah.
Too funny.
Might have to be a bonus episode.
Yeah, maybe we will make it a bonus.
It'll be labeled
episode.
Matt's tranny.
Yeah, but just all seriousness,
Yep,
like thank
absolutely.
you guys, and obviously thank you God for everything that you've given us and everybody at Born Again, and if anybody's listening to this and maybe doesn't have a personal relationship and wants to learn a little bit more about it, please message us. Like we always say, none of us on here are perfect, but we can point you in the right direction and get you started. So
Absolutely.
something I strongly recommend because it's changed my life. It's changed all the guys' lives that I'm talking to right now, and he can change your life if you're wanting that. So that's all I got to say.
End
I
it,
love you
Kevy.
guys.
Yep. Love
Hit
you
it,
too,
hit it
buddy.
with that ending, buddy.
Yeah, send
All
her
right.
home.
Doesn't matter what you've done in the past. You can always be born again, and born again is out.
Peace.
Peace.